Already under surveillance.
Yeah. I'm trying to figure this thing out. I Someone gifted me a free computer that I really don't know how to use. So
Excellent.
yeah, well, it's better than no computer, I guess. So
Phones are pretty fancy these days, so it might be a bit of a downgrade depending on the computer.
well, I was trying when I was talking to that guy Dave to figure it out on the phone, but you can only record if you pay for the premium Zoom. So
That makes sense.
yeah, that's how they get you.
There's always ways.
Mm-hmm.
So Saint Sartori,
Yeah,
the honor and a privilege.
yeah. Well, I mean, this is like, I don't know.
Well, there was a point when Paul noticed me, and then like 3 or 4 different people popped up trying stuff, but yours was the one that was funny. I was like, this guy is playing the same game we are. Those other
Yeah,
guys are like trying to launch a podcast or whatever, but you have things to say and points to make. That
yeah. Well, I mean, I listen for like 8 or 9 hours a day to stuff, and then you know, I got to get some of those opinions out, especially when you listen to people having conversations and they're both just like not
like
saying
short
the
opinion
common.
3, 4, and 5.
Well, just like you listen to some of these, like I listen to a bunch of those like randos ones where it's just the different people, and they just all want to like not say anything that has to do with common sense or real life. They just want to like, and it just gets kind of frustrating after a while.
In
So
the
then
Discord internet echo chamber, or
yeah,
is it
yeah.
something else?
Oh, just what I mean. Well, it's I don't know. I mean, I there's all the different tribes, and I'm kind of like dabble in all of them. A lot of the little Christian tribes and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, I really like this. And then I say, but what about this thing? And then people are like, oh no. And then they have some really like dogmatic propaganda reason for why not to consider some other thing. And so
Like
I don't
creationism?
yeah, or that's a big one in the intellectual circles or whatever. Which I mean, they got PhDs and stuff too. Like it's not nothing. I mean, but but whatever the weird tribe was, there was always like, well, I can't totally just, I don't know. I just don't understand how people just are like decide like this is my new thing and they just go all in and like
I I don't know about going all in on a thing. I dabble and drop and dabble and drop and dabble and drop, but
yeah.
just with all the options, everybody's probably wrong, but they
Yeah.
probably have a little piece of the right. So I just
Mm-hmm.
go along and try to gather up all the pieces, and now I'm pretty sure aliens, but what you gonna do?
Yeah. Well, is it extraterrestrial aliens or interdimensional aliens?
Ooh, maybe both. Maybe both. I don't know. It's the let's make them in our image, and then like we end up doing the same thing. So it make the genetic engineering thing makes sense to me. And then there's that cave when they're talking about the Denosovans, like the
Oh,
breed
the
before us.
no seven. Yeah.
And there's
I-
so much. But see, the thing is like, okay, so even if Yahweh was some alien force, that doesn't preclude like the one infinite creator from like sending somebody down to do a walkthrough of how to be a human and win. And it's just, I don't know, but like, what am I supposed to do? Find out a church that believes that? So I'm just riding the edge of the apocalypse and saying, why aren't you guys, what did it mostly?
yeah. Well, I don't know. Maybe that's the thing. I don't understand the people's hang up of like trying to find the church that that they can agree with every single, because I've worked at churches where I'm like, I only agree with about 3/4 of what this church believes, but I'll go. I worked there. I was getting paid to be there, do stuff. You don't have
Well,
to just don't. I don't know. I guess that's just the thing. Is yeah, everybody's got to be wrong about some stuff, but you just gotta keep an open mind about that or what. Yeah. So
they're at least in the same game as you. I think like finding a church is a big part of like being in a room with people again. 'Cause
yeah.
I crawled in the internet a long time ago. So like that's the appeal for me is to reintegrate with actual people. And
Mm,
like when they cut off the internet because they will,
yeah.
then I'll have people to talk to. But
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, I'm not. I'm an introvert, so I don't need like a lot of people. But yeah, my wife doesn't want to talk about the 8 hours of Jordan Peterson videos that I watch every day. So I need to find some people that are a little bit more on the same page. So it's good to talk
tell
to
me about
people.
your InfoWars time. I'm
Uh,
assuming it's a phase that's pretty much over now. Is that part right?
yeah, every once in a while I go and check on like the news wars just to like look at the headlines. But it's just, I mean, once you like get onto any of those new scenes, you kind of like map all the territory after a while. It's like if you subscribe to a magazine, you find out like all magazines just have the same information on like a 4-year cycle. So there's no reason to
Subscribe
keep
for
us.
more than
Yeah,
4 years.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's then you just know all the stuff or whatever. And with like YouTube and stuff like that, it's even faster. Um yeah, so I went on it was somebody posted like that thing on Facebook. I think it was my father-in-law posted like Alex Jones talking about Hillary Clinton and the pizza pedo thing, and all the like the secret language in the emails. And
Mhm.
I mean, I was just like, well, it makes sense because like the Bible just says like here, like people will, they will do it with anything, any other person or
Unnatural relation.
anything. Yeah, like if you give somebody an opportunity and like 5 seconds, they're probably gonna stick their willy in it. Like that's just
That's fascinating. Let's see if we can take your channel down here.
well.
Some of these, like the important, not important, but the significant facts I have from my it might not be facts, but significant data points that I have from my looking into that was like the shooter guy has 3 names and like fired 1 bullet into the computer server. Come on. Come on. And then like if you look at who his dad was, he like was like super Christian and um like gun training. But it's just
Oh, you're talking about the guy that went down to the place or
that was
whatever.
supposedly the
Oh yeah,
the loon that took it too far.
yeah. Well, yeah, I didn't. Yeah, I mean, I didn't go like I was. So I heard that thing, and then I just kind of forgot about it. I forgot about it, and like, well, I wasn't gonna vote. I wasn't. I was just gonna like, because I thought like, oh, Trump's an idiot, and it also didn't matter because I lived in Massachusetts, so that state was going blue no matter what. But I was never gonna vote for Hillary. But I was like, I don't know. I mean, Trump seems like an idiot, but I got to vote for him because at least that way, like the vote totals will be
Like it's
plus
like
one
it's like
for
the same way Biden got in. It's like
yeah.
voting against the other person more than for
Yeah.
anybody.
Well, that was the only reason. I mean, that was that's the whole thing. The Democrats wanted him because it was like I mean, all the other people were, fake New World Order types anyway, but they were all much more attractive against Hillary. So the only person she possibly could have beaten was Donald Trump. Nobody would vote for her compared to literally anybody else. And not even Donald Trump, apparently. So
It's another one of my favorite ones is like supposedly according to those leaked emails was the one where she gave the media the green light to cover him. and she called him the Pied Piper.
Yeah.
And
That's
I was like,
that's why I saw
look what happened. Look what happened. That was
yeah.
good. But I don't know. After I voted for her husband way back when, and that was
Mhm.
like the only election I bothered to participate in, because like there's this what happens if we don't consent? And if participation is consent, like what if they have to hit a certain percentage of participation? Otherwise they lose their rule and we get appointed a new chancellor of the region by the Egyptian priesthood who secretly run everything. I don't know.
No. Yeah, I don't know. It's such a dumb. I mean, what we need a democratic lottery. That's the most legit way. But
You know,
I don't know if you could do it for president. But I think if they did that for like House of Representatives, because that's the one that's supposed to be like a representation of the people. So just they should just
random Joe, you're a
yeah,
congressman now.
that's what they should do. Like you should be able to like disqualify yourself if you want to, but if you're not, otherwise,
Like jury duty it.
yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. That'd be tough to, because then it's like it, if you're picking like random social security numbers or something, you're not going to get two in a row. Then that's instantly somehow like 15 seats were picked 2 years in a row. Or,
I've always been really partial to the one in Starship Troopers, where like if you want to be a public, you can be a public, but if you want to be a citizen, you got to go through shit, and then you can vote.
Hmm.
Like it never made sense to me that like immigrants had to pass the citizenship test, but those idiots I went to high school with didn't. And then like mandatory community service doesn't have to be military; it could be like nurse, fireman, police, whatever. But you have to serve
Yeah.
to earn your. That makes sense to me, but I've yet to be appointed dictator of the region. So, um, do you think it's go time for Jesus coming back anytime soon? Are you getting that vibe, or
I think, I think that literally it could be any time. Like this is one of these things where it's like, why would you commit yourself to one possible, like only like one solution? Like, because there's some people that are like, Jesus is coming back, and there's going to be a rapture, and they're all hiding in a bunker, and that's stupid because they're not doing anything useful. And then I don't know, like then there's just a bunch of people talking about how those people are really dumb, and therefore, because this particular thing is not the mark of the beast, we should just say, give it to me. But like, just because it's not the mark of the beast, like you think the mark of the beast is like everybody, when the real mark of the beast comes, everybody's going to be like, of course we need the mark of the beast. Like, so
that's what it felt like for
well,
the
yeah,
last 2 years?
it was
Like from
close. I
here,
think that, yeah, I think that
you do know that Big T moved the embassy, the U.S. embassy in Israel,
yeah.
from like I guess Tel Aviv to Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
And
Well, yeah, I think, and I think of people that are saying like, oh, the fact that there is a nation of Israel now doesn't actually have anything to do with like end times, whatever. I'm like, I don't know. It's like we didn't have one of those for 2,000 years. It's kind of a big deal, like.
I gotta say to the Rapture folks in the crowd, you missed it. I mean, there was so few good people that made it. Nobody even noticed 144K going missing.
Well, that was the people that died when they got the shot. It was a
Right?
rapture. It was
Like
rapture.
it was the crown, because the way it has to work, if there's gonna be free will, is the divine has to be invisible. Because if like we witness miracles that we can't not believe, or you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like if it has to happen through the arena, things happening in the arena playing out the way they're supposed to, then you can still believe that there's nothing if you try real hard, real hard.
Hmm. Well, yeah. Did you see that weird chat with Paul on those with those other guys? Chad put a little clip on his channel about where he was talking about how it's like free will is it's like we're playing Uncharted or whatever. You know, like it looks like you can do whatever you want, but you can't really go everywhere. But if you want to just like stand in a corner and jump all the time and not accomplish anything, you're free to do that with your life, I guess.
I missed
So,
that one. I catch
oh,
most of Chad's. That was odd.
yeah, it's interesting, I guess. Yeah, he was talking, what was it? It's called like Breaking the Rules or something. I don't know, some podcast that he was on with like three other guys. And
Oh, that one. No, I haven't
yeah,
seen that yet.
yeah.
There was this time a while back, I've turned it into the Stumping the Pastor video, where like I landed like first Q&A question spot, the one he's supposed to spend 40 minutes on,
Hmm.
and he just punted to Vereki and passed it entirely. And so I'm like, okay, he doesn't want me around anymore, obviously. I've been my viewing is weighing down since then, but I still catch
Well, you
the
know what? Because
sermon drafts.
I put a few of those in the Q&As, and you know what I realized is I think that he has really bad. I don't think he can read what's on the screen very well, because like he could barely like read my name last time, and then there are some other ones where he just like missed. He's like, you know, because that's the other thing. I typed it in, and I'm like, oh, he misread that word. So I think he can't. I think he needs to make the print bigger on the screen or something.
I think that's got to be your secret identity that you revealed, projecting. Get vision projections on people now. I think he reads just fine.
Well, I don't. Well, no. You know what though? He's got those glasses that he doesn't want to wear, so he needs them. He needs to be wearing them during the Q&A.
Eyes to see, Paul. Eyes to see. So I don't know what to do until they bring the lockdown stuff back around, because you know conditioning is on and off and on and off until they're used to it. And
Well,
so
you're
I think
supposed.
it's coming back around. But like
Yeah,
meanwhile,
you're supposed to get fired up about war.
yeah, yeah, I'm it's like it feels like with the way that people are all connected on their phones and stuff now, that they could just walk out. They could be like, no, we're done. Screw this and go home. And like, then what? What I mean, that's like the only clean solution I see to,
Yeah.
but like I think nukes are fake, so I spend no fear energy in that direction.
Hmm. I don't think. I mean, I don't think they're fake, but I think that they are. You can't use them because it's just you lose as soon as you use one. We used it when we were the only one that had it. That was
Did
the only
we?
time.
And how are the radiation levels there now?
I don't.
That's the thing. You see, eh.
Well, you know what I was thinking, like, you know, with like the gun laws and stuff. I think the government should just give everybody a gun, because then people would have an accurate assessment of how dangerous other people are. It's not having the gun doesn't necessarily make them more dangerous. Like that is how you should think of other people. Like anybody could kill anybody, like if they wanted to. So we should just give everybody a gun. And then if anybody's dumb enough to use the gun,
We'll cut down the population that way. Get rid of the Darwin
well, no,
candidates.
I don't think it was. I think it would cut down on murder and all that stuff, you know? Well, I mean, you know, that's kind of like the gun supporting ideology anyway. Like if you never know who might have a gun, you're not going to try to like rob a bank or something because people are going to pull out their guns and shoot you or whatever. I mean, you know, that happens in some of these states. Like, so, but I mean, I think you should just have it. But then it's like, if somebody else tries to kill somebody and you're there, you need to use your gun on them, or else you're like guilty too, because you didn't try to stop them. And then I think that would be enough of a crazy scenario that people would just be like, I'm not going to hurt anybody.
You are aware that the Purge movies are a thing.
Oh, I've never seen them, but
But you know, there's a thing when they.
yeah, but that's the thing. Like that, but if everybody is equally dangerous, then it's much less like that's the only reason like why bad actors they are always underestimating everybody. They always they think that they are superior or that they have an advantage. That's why they do a crime or whatever. Like so. I mean, it's kind of that's kind of the principle with the nukes. Like no, everybody has nukes. Don't use the nukes because if you use the nukes, everybody else is going to nuke you. So
I've started mapping, well, a while ago. I started mapping geopolitical country stuff like high school.
mm,
It's like the way we treat Iran. Nobody do business with Iran. They can't have the secret weapon. And and the best reason anyone can't have the secret weapon is because it's not real. And then we can only decide, okay, well, if you play with us, then you can say you have it. But
well,
mm,
I don't know. It could be, but
it might be real. But if they are real, we're not gonna find out until it's too late. And I'm like, oh, I was wrong about that. As I see the mushroom cloud.
well, I mean, that is kind of the problem. That is a problem. Like the fact that we even have like global stuff. Like, how can anybody know? I mean, unless if you're going to go there, and then you're just somebody else saying that it's true. But how can the people that didn't go there know that it's true? If everything's just what you see on screens.
Especially, yeah, now we're doing deep fakes where like the right person could overlay this conversation with video and audio that makes it look like I'm Obama.
Hmm.
And so we can't even trust that anymore.
Yeah.
We live in weird, really weird times, and it's other than the way everyone is always aimed, it's hard to figure out where to point. So,
Yeah.
but
Well,
you're
I did.
expanding into discussions on your podcast at least.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like, well, yeah. I guess I haven't been quite satisfied with the comments. I mean, it's nice because I've had like people say like that's great, but like I want to have like I'm putting this stuff out like, what do you think of this? Jacob doesn't like my videos that I put out, so
I like that the guy with the funny tights. Who's that?
oh, Francis Schaefer.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
His stuff is real good. I enjoyed that quite a bit. He makes solid points.
yeah, he does. He does. It's weird. I got to do a thing. I don't know, because like then his son turned into like a crazy Christian, like a progressive Christian who just hates everybody who's a Republican. And
Wow.
when his thing is just like all like it's all those people that are still mad at Trump even though he hasn't been president for 2 years or whatever. So
The TDS so bad they still can't get his name out of his mouth, man.
yeah.
The thing that bothers me about trolls is that like the people that don't understand that trolls can also feed off of negative energy. It's like that's the bread and butter they're used to. But like he had his training in the WEF or whatever they're calling it now. He worked underneath the wrestlers.
Oh
Like
yeah.
there's like him on stage in a grudge match against that Vince McMahon fellow or whatever. So he knows like that's crowd training. That's how to play people.
Yeah.
I don't know. Weird, weird times.
Yeah. So yeah, that was a yeah. Yeah. When I heard that thing about the pedos, and I just put that in the back of my head, and then all the like lockdown stuff started, and then I was like, wait a minute, and that's when I went back
Wow.
and
You just so it was right before the lockdown when you heard all that stuff.
no, I heard
That's
that back in 2016, and I was just like, yeah, makes sense. Secret pedophilia, like elite pedophilia makes total sense. It literally makes, as somebody who believes in the Bible, that's like the most obvious thing. Like, I mean, it's kind of the same thing of like, we've just had this thing of like the Catholic Church has taken over the world, like back in the Middle Ages, and they're like, everything's perfect now, except it wasn't. And then, now we're just in the part of like liberal
secularism
democracy has
won.
taken over the world and everything's perfect now, except it's not. But
You
So there's just always that
if
stuff
you
in the
if you understand the
shadows.
concept of blackmail, then it makes a whole lot more sense. But if you're
Yeah.
thinking that without it, but it's like our societal norms are degrading to the point where blackmail is becoming less and less blackmaily. Like, I keep hoping someone will like crack what the government has on just everybody and release it on, especially at least the politicians, elected officials. Like, here's all the dirt we have on them that can't be blackmailed anymore.
Yeah.
Because the things
Well,
people will do for their reputation.
I mean, and then it even becomes a thing of like, somebody in these intelligence agencies starts setting up all this blackmail stuff. And then it's like everybody that you're getting to do the dirty work, they can point their fingers at you because you're the one setting it up. And so then, yeah, it just kind of snowballs into a whole thing. And
Our global system
yeah.
of control. Um, so what about listening to things for 9 hours a day? What's that like?
What's that like?
Are you just working wood the whole time?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Driving and, working construction. And so it's, yeah, I mean, I yeah, I don't know. It makes the day a lot more enjoyable. I mean, I kind of almost don't even see it like, I don't know. I don't know what to say. Like, if I just dedicated like more brain power to the work I was actually doing, I don't know that it would actually result in any more productivity. Actually, it's kind of that thing of like, I don't know, whatever Vareki says about like, having like that distraction or whatever. So like on the one hand, listening to things is a little bit of a distraction for me while I'm doing my work, but I more or less think of it as the work that I'm doing is the little bit of distraction that I need to think about what I'm listening and process it. And,
Yeah, to help you focus on what you're listening to.
yeah. I mean, I don't know if I want, I always think I will be doing something like that, but I don't know if I necessarily want to be getting paid for carpentry. Like maybe I'd rather be paid for thinking and doing the carpentry to help me think, but we'll see.
Well, I haven't seen you showcase any shelves or anything. Like, I don't know. I'd like, what? You made that?
Yeah. Put all this stuff in, bookshelves here and all this. Houses
See,
don't just come that way.
Well, they do, but that's usually because they buy them from people like you after they die or move on.
Yeah. Well, actually, if you look at you can see the progression of this. If you go from like my very first videos and then I added this thing and then I painted the walls and then I put the bookshelf in. And so you can see the progress over time if you want to.
That's cool. I can't wait to see what cave you're in next year.
Probably the same one. This is like literally the one corner of this house that I have like control over the appearance of. So
perfect. So you understand the shadow matriarchy concept.
Yeah.
See, I got this whole shtick about how like we've desanctified the womb, like between abortion and women's lib, and like I met your mom on Grinder, or no wait, that's the gay one. I mean, people aren't shopping for the parents of their children. They're just looking for their good time, and that's degrading everybody. And I think women have lost control of eugenics. Like, don't marry that guy because, and because that's a shadow thing. Is like we will socially destroy you if you disobey the matriarchy. Is gone, as far as I can tell.
Well, I mean, I think that's the thing, and I think it's that kind of the problem of the like internet echo chamber thing. And so like everybody who's on like Bridges of Meaning is like, yeah, but I can't go to an evangelical church because I went to that when I was a kid and blah, blah, blah. I have issues or whatever. But there's still like thousands of these churches that are mostly full. And there's all that stuff. Like if you go into any of these like big churches, it's like there's definitely this like hierarchy, hierarchical structure of like mommy blogs and like all this, stuff. Like it's a whole thing, and it's like, there's all these rules, and the women have to perform a certain way to get in and get the approval of the, you have to find, like, it's a little bit weirder now because it's like,
So it's like infrastructure in smaller communities instead of like the global or the
well, I think that's really how it's always been. I mean, I think that's just the thing, is that we've had some stuff scale to a global level, but not everything can scale that way. And, so like, I mean, I would say, oh, so the church I used to work at, the pastor's wife would let a girl know what she thought about the boy that she brought to church one time or whatever. Like, and 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 the grandma too, like the pastor's mother-in-law, she'd be in there, and like, like it was just, so that, that stuff still happens. I think it's just, it is more in a local level. And that's the other thing too, is that like it's tough to know, like, because everybody's always talking about like how Christianity's like falling apart and all that stuff, and like, I don't know, I think there's a lot of people that, probably the people that you want to reach for paintball for Jesus, who just are already like not sucked in. I mean, there are, the people that are sucked in need to get back out, but I think that there's a lot more like pockets of optimism out there than people realize.
That'd be nice to find.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the evangelicals can take paintball for Jesus and run with it. I just want to see young men using their bodies and not like crawling into VR and disappearing. It's like,
Yeah.
don't make the mistakes I did, kids. Stay off the game, because it was like the transition to where entertainment and employment became the same thing. Like,
Yeah.
TV, the broadcast became something we can do from the house. And it's like, imagine how many kids are growing up with wanting to be YouTubers right now. That's where we're at. And who's got the wheel? Because I think we need to make a turn somewhere.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I guess that's kind of the thing. It's like, well, I'm being on here now, so it's like, am I? But also it's like the amount of time that I can actually spend like making content and stuff. It's like an hour or two a week or something, like, maybe a little more. But like when I have done any of those things that require like a lot of editing, it's like I can't. I figured, I'm like, I can't do this every week because I will not get anything else done in my limited free time. So
yeah, it's and once you start making stuff, it's a lot harder to watch stuff. It's like, I don't got time to watch that. I gotta chip away at this thing over here. And
yeah.
but
Well,
there's
yeah.
all these people here. And it's like, surely I can get through to somebody. I can make some small difference. And if I make some small difference in 300 different places, then that's more than I can do in my town, theoretically. So I don't know. I'm not sure where to take it now, though. I mean, I have what I consider a phenomenally successful Patreon, which is like not enough to pay the bills or anything, but it's not zero, and it's not like less than 20. So I feel like I should keep plugging at it, but I'm not sure where to take it, because like I have like what, 3 core messages.
Well, you need to work on like a grand unifying theory.
It's the whole reasonable heresy video is like slowly stewing in the back of my mind, and that's like from aliens to the return of Christ, and works in the chakra system in there. But that one, I don't know, life has been demanding my attention a lot more the last 3 months too. Like animals, mainly. Dogs are showing up that need care, and now there's a kitten, the 5 kittens. the cast of the OA has come out of my Sylvia's womb. And yeah.
Well, it's good to have things to do. Yeah. I don't know.
Um,
Well, I mean, what I mean, what is my first impression? When you came on Paul's channel, and then I subscribed, started looking stuff. Is you seem like are you always in a state of like paranoia about things, or do you have any what do you feel optimistic about? Anything?
for the species? Um, I I'm optimistic that one day it's gonna be over, and that whatever is left is like the rest of my life sentence, and then something else, either nothingness, eternal damnation. It's gonna be different at least. Um, the the yeah, that's my biggest thing is there's nowhere it feels like other than maintenance. Like I could try and help maintain what's slowly disintegrating in society, but unless Gen Z comes out with something I can really get on board with, there's not a whole lot to invest in. I mean, scramble for fiat currency that's getting inflated out, or that they're not going to let me have access to as soon as the passports are done. So it's pretty doom and gloom over here. But part of the thing that I was trying to do is I think that there are intelligence agencies like farming opinion, shaping opinion in these spheres. And so I want to LARP as one of those real hard so that people like learn what controlled opposition means, and that like, cause if you come on naive that there aren't those people out here, first you're going to get grifted hard, but then you could be radicalized. And I don't know, I like to find the people I think are agents and poke them and see what happens. So I'm entertaining myself at least that way.
Yeah. Well, what I think, I mean, I was thinking about this, and like, I think, God's in control. And if we really take a wrong turn with this stuff, he can send one of those like solar pulses or whatever that's going to wipe out all the
Oh,
electronics.
yeah, that's coming.
Yeah. Well, then,
Like,
I mean, that's real. Like, really, it's like that. We can have a Tower of Babel against all electronics from like at any time. Like if we really are screwing this up. So
that's part of why they put all the books on Kindle,
yeah.
is so that as soon as that happens, all that information is gone. And like if you like, I still watch the Jesuits, because they put me in one of their videos. I put my tweet in one of their videos, where I call them Jesuit assassins. But they covered real well how like colleges are locking down access to actual physical books now and digitizing them all. And I don't know, it's just like first they came for Alex Jones. Like once they silenced him, like channels just disappear now. And like sometimes you see people whine on Twitter about, oh, my channel got deleted. You team YouTube, please help. But it's like Morgoth's review got taken off of Patreon for off-platform behavior. And the latest Discord update was like, in limited cases, we will punish you for off-platform behavior. And so there's just the echo chamber walls are solidifying.
Mm.
And my initial thought is when things picked up after Paul hit me, that I could get the channel up to 1,000 subs, and then I'd get the monetization review and they'd kill the channel. And then at least all those people would see like how some guy just, you know, telling what the best truth, best he can. And generally a nice guy can still get his stuff Like, that's how bad the censorship is. But sadly, that goal was not achieved.
What I mean, I don't know, what even happens at this monetization review that they would
They
like
make
to,
sure you're advertiser friendly enough
oh, okay,
to start cutting you in
so
on the
somebody actually
profits.
looks at your videos at that point, is that what it is?
Yeah, somebody from the team. And like, I already have that community strike. Like, people can't see my comments half the time on certain channels for whatever reason. It's just, if you're not aware it's going on, you'd have no way of knowing it was going on.
Hmm.
So
Yeah, I have noticed, like, I have a few things where, it'll say that there's more comments on a video. Like, one of them was like a crazy person who was trying to talk about how like everybody in the Bible was a trans person or whatever, and like I was like, and it sent me like the email, and I could read it in the email, but it like wouldn't show it on the thing. I don't know if that's just because they've been blocked or deleted too many other times or whatever, but yeah.
was
But I've had
that
a few
message probably.
where I can't. Yeah, I was just like, wow, that's weird. Like, I don't care. Like, if people have statements that are that weird, like, it doesn't, I don't know, but maybe that's why I don't have the mind of a censor. Like, because, and that was even the thing, like, I didn't even realize for a long time, because like growing up in church, like people would always be like, don't don't read this thing or whatever, like it's gonna like take you down a bad path or whatever. And so I'd be like, oh, okay, I won't read that. And then at some point I read it and be like, this is going to take, like, this is like, I don't know, I just don't like, I don't, I just think that's a bad approach. Like, because if something is true, if it's true, like, then it's true, so we should accept it as truth. But if it's not true, then why does it matter if somebody's gonna read it? Like, you need to like expose yourself to different things, and then if they contradict, then you have to make decisions about it. But I don't know, I guess if that's like, there's not, maybe that's the problem with all the people that hate the evangelical church, because they grew up in a situation where they never encountered any information that contradicted anything else that they heard or believed until they get to college. And like, that's
Then that's when their world gets shattered open.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be a blessed childhood. Probably.
Well, kind of, but then you're depressed and you have to talk to Paul Vanderklay about how hard it is for you to pick a church.
At least there's Paul Vanderklay. That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
See, when he gave me the nod of attention, I personally thought it was because I was poking Vervaeke and Pajot enough that they were like, deal with this guy, Paul. But yeah, I don't know. I lost it. I had something a second ago, but it's gone now.
Yeah. Well, I like Paul because his like rambling, it's like the same speed as my thinking, like while I'm working and listening to stuff. So it's just like he's talking and I'm having a conversation with him in my head. Other stuff, like I have to back it up when people say like something smart or whatever.
I like the notion of like one maven grooming that much thought consistently, and like there's a whole group that can hear you if you can speak in that language.
Well, yeah. I mean, the other thing too is I think it's just crazy, and like this is why I'm doing videos, is just because, like I'm thinking about stuff all the time, like, and I'm always connecting new little bits of stuff to my map of meaning or whatever, as you want to consider it. And like, but at some point I learned like, oh, people that are good at things don't get to do things. It's people who say, I'm good at that, let me do it. That's who gets to do stuff. And I was like, that's stupid. Like, because I would just be like, I could do whatever this person's doing better than they are, but I'm not an obnoxious person. I don't have the drive to self promote that way. But now we can just, anybody can make a YouTube channel and put whatever they want out there. If you want to write a book, you can put it on Amazon, and if 50 people buy it, that's way more than the people. How many books have gotten sent to publishers and no one ever read them,
Right.
for hundreds of years. So it's kind of even crazy to think about, like, how many people have had, like, probably like really deep thoughts or the actual solutions to the world's problems, but they weren't obnoxious enough to argue with the people that were telling them this is how it should be. I mean, that's kind of why I like the idea of like a democratic lottery, because right now the only person that can be elected is somebody who is willing to go through the process of campaigning for a political office. And to be good at campaigning is a totally different set of skills from being good at actually holding an office. So we don't get people that are probably good at the job. We get people who are good at telling us that they should have the job.
Or at least like sucking up to the people with the money for the commercials.
Yeah.
But like one of the last things I really watched from the left before, like as I was making my exit, because back in the day I watched Jon Stewart like everybody else, was John Oliver did this piece on how all of our congressmen are they just basically telemarket for the party all day.
Mhm.
And like nobody was fazed by any of it. It's like, okay, that's how it is. That's what we got. And it's like at that level of care, it's good that your people are keeping you safe from bad information. It lets you stay in the herd, because it's messy. It's messy trying to figure shit out and trying to decide what's actually right. Like, but I've got all these things that have stuck with me that tell me that a lot of people wouldn't be doing what they're doing had they seen the things I'd seen. Like the thing they put in Diet Coke, the aspartame was rejected 17 times until Rumsfeld got into position, and then suddenly it's approved. And like carbonated sugar water, that probably was meant to be a treat at
Mm.
some point, and now it's like that's all some people drink. Grow up drinking. I know. Um, and it's just like that level of stuff. It's like if I could just push more people, if I could get the snowball rolling in that direction, then I'd have something to get on board with. Like, but meanwhile, there's YouTube.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, oh, I was gonna make the point that like anybody can do it. That's part of my shtick. That's why I don't like try super hard for production value, is
Mhm.
because I would really rather somebody better at it that thinks the same things I do start doing it so I could do something else.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's like, yeah, because I had thought about it. I had thought about doing it a long time ago. I thought about doing a woodworking channel for a while, and then I got annoyed with that area of YouTube, because it's kind of stupid. Because like once those people get successful, they can't. Then they lose like the thing that made them appealing in the first place. Because like people go on YouTube to find out like that they want something for their house, and they say, how much does that thing cost? And then they find out it's ridiculous to buy a stupid stool
Custom
or
cabinets. Yeah.
whatever. And then they're like, oh, maybe I could make it instead. So you go on YouTube, you figure out how to make it. But if you're making it to save money, and then you see all these people with $10,000 worth of equipment saying, today we're going to make a cutting board, it's like, it's stupid.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's weird. I think the thing you have to like, people have to just think about two things that don't really go together and search for it, and then you might find little channels, and then that's where like the interesting stuff is. And that's why, I was like, yeah, like I gave Paul a hard time when he started putting little like teaser intros on his things. I'm like, you've changed, you're getting too big. It's like, I mean, to me, it was like, this guy doesn't try at all to like make a good video. I could make a better video than this. So, I mean, that was, the encouraging thing to start or whatever,
Yeah.
So,
I think there was a while when I caught a couple YouTube videos of like, there's like basically ASMR because the dudes wouldn't say anything, but like they'd go in the woods and like build these little shelter huts for them.
mhm.
And then like a couple months ago, I ran across this huge channel, I guess, but it had this one little Asian woman like climbing trees and building this like luxury villa all by herself, like time and like, wow, that's why they got humans to do the work for them. And it's, I don't know. We live in weird times,
Yeah.
and at least we have this still. Like, I don't, the people in North Korea don't get to have these kind of conversations, as far as we know.
Maybe when they're out collecting the poop for the day.
Is that what they do?
Yeah.
The
Did you
poop
see that?
collectors over there?
Yeah. Did you see that girl that was the girl that from North Korea that was on Jordan Peterson?
No, I don't. It was too victim exploity to me, so I couldn't watch it.
I don't know. I mean, I thought that was a pretty good one. I mean, she's pretty tough and resilient, and basically,
But she said they collect poop all day.
yeah, you can't if you like you have or like when you go, you have to turn your poop in. And then sometimes they would like go out and look for it because that's the only fertilizer they have in the country.
Oh wow.
And like they struggle to find men that reach the height requirement for the military of 5 feet. So
Whoa.
yeah.
Wow, I guess I should go watch that just to see how lucky I am
Yeah.
to be a tall white American. Okay, I'm out of juice. You got anything else?
No, I don't know. That's fine.
All right, that was us having a recording. Hope you enjoyed it.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.
See you later.